Republican to go. Let's bring in Republican New Jersey Congressman Jeff Van Drew, a member of the House Judiciary Committee, and by the way, someone who was a Democrat until he switched parties in 2020. Congressman, thank you for being here. I want to start off with your top line thoughts. How did you think President Biden did in the ABC interview?
Well, he did better than he did in the debate, but that's certainly easy to do. Look, I mean, they're in a real corner here. If you really push to replace him, which he doesn't want to go, he's made that very clear. His wife, Jill, doesn't want him to go. So if they're going to pressure him through other means, and I actually have theories, and they're only theories, but in ways that they could pressure him out, is it going to be Kamala Harris? She's a problem. She's not strong. She has issues. She has problems as well. Even Gavin Newsom in California, there's a lot of people who don't want to be California, and they don't want the United States of America to have the policies of California. So it's going to create a lot of upsetment, a lot of problems. They've got to figure out, do they stick with what they know? Do they try to be consistent? How are they? They're going to, the money that's been given to him can't be transferred automatically to a new candidate. So it's a really difficult issue and a difficult time for them. But the bottom line is, and I say this, Brian, it's important. We knew this all along. The only reason anybody is shocked or surprised in the American public is because NBC, CBS, ABC, the mainstream media, the mainstream print media, they never told all these stories about him falling. They didn't tell the stories about his gaffes. They didn't tell the stories about his completely losing his train of thought, which has been going on for months and years, actually. So everybody's surprised because now the media couldn't hide it anymore. It was in a debate that was watched by millions of people. There was nowhere for them to go. So now they're being critical. And quite frankly, on the left, they want to do anything and everything they can to win, and they're scared.
Angie Craig is the fifth Democrat to come out in the House and say that he should step down. What makes her different is that she's the only one of the five to come from a swing district, which means she has something to lose here. Do you suspect, based on your conversations being on Capitol Hill, maybe even speaking to some of your colleagues across the aisle, that there will be an insurmountable number of Democrats this week that will come out and say that he should stand down?
Well, there's going to be more, but, I mean, there's hundreds of members of the House of Representatives that are Democrats. So, that still represents a small fraction. I think the majority as of today, as of this moment, are still behind him. They're seeing some bad polling, so that concerns them as well. Bottom line is, you're right about Angie Craig, and you're going to see some people like Jared Golden in Maine and Angie Craig and others who were from swing areas who were surprised and happy when they did actually win and they originally won election to the House of Representatives. Those are the very members that can be affected the most because, when the electorate can go either way and something like this is happening, it can actually go down ballot. But I will maintain this. Very often people are smart voters now and they look at the president as one vote and they look at the member of Congress as another and different vote with a differentiation. So I'm not so sure how many will be carried through. Last thing I'll say on this, Brian, as a Republican, we have to work hard to the last minute of the last day. Nobody should be high-fiving. The election's not over. There's nothing to celebrate yet. Great, it was a great week for Republicans. I'm as happy as anybody else, but I believe in hard work and focus. That's what Republicans need to do.
Real quickly here, Congressman, you represent the Trump campaign in New Jersey, a very blue state. Would you prefer to see Biden stay as if you're the Trump campaign, or would you be scared even of a new candidate?
Look, I'm not scared of anything because I think we have the answers and we're right on the issues. So these candidates that they have, the alternative candidates, are not good candidates. I mean, again, Newsom, do we really want the country to be run like the state? I mean, the state of California. I mean, with their high taxes, with their myriad of restrictions on everything, on personal freedom, everything else, or do we want something different? I think people want something different. I don't care who it is, because we're going to win regardless.
All right. New Jersey Congressman Jeff Van Drew, thank you so much for being here today.
Appreciate it.